video. Hey guys, welcome back to BGN. I am Shane the Bearded One, and today we go back to a series that has been long dormant for many years on this channel, my Gaming Purchases Showcase. Now this is a series where I show you all of the games or gaming related items that I've purchased since the last video, but since the last video has been going on 3 years now, we're gonna do things a little bit differently today. This is going to be a special video because it was my birthday recently, and with birthdays, you know, comes that sweet birthday cash. So I looked around online, looked where I could get some good games for a good price, and not a sponsor, I went to Lukey Games because I've had such a craving to start collecting for this thing again. I bought a bunch of Xbox 360 games. Now the Xbox 360 is one of my favorite consoles. I basically grew up with it in my teen years, and I've just had such a nostalgic craving to go back to it and start collecting for it again. So I went on Lukey Games, not a sponsor, trust me, and I looked around to see what I could get. As you can see, I've got my big box of games here from Lukey, so I'm gonna open it up and we're gonna see what's inside. Okay, so I got my box of games off to the side here. I'm just gonna keep grabbing them one by one, and we're gonna see what I got. So first up, we have Battlefield 3 for the 360. Now, I am a big fan of Battlefield. It may not seem like it because I don't play it very often, but when I do, I very much enjoy these games. They are much more tactical and team-focused than something like Call of Duty, which is more of a twitch shooter, and I like that spin on the first-person shooter genre because it makes you think about what you're doing rather than just running in, guns blazing. Now, I never actually played Battlefield 3, so that's why I got it. I heard very good things about it when it came out. I heard the single player was a little lacking, but it made up for it in the multiplayer, so I'm very interested to see how this game turns out, and I can't wait to play it. But that's not the only Battlefield game we got. Let me grab these two. This has been a long time coming, because these are considered modern shooter classics, and I've never played them before. So I got both Bad Company 1 and 2. So whenever you hear people talking about Battlefield, you usually hear them mention either Bad Company 1 or 2. Both of these games are considered modern classics in the shooter genre. They basically redefined what shooters could be on modern consoles, and along with Call of Duty, revolutionized the genre and made it basically mainstream. I've heard both of these games have some of the best single-player campaigns out there, and very robust, fun, and interesting multiplayer modes. These games are like 10 years old at this point though, but they're both backwards compatible, so I don't think it'll be an issue to get online. I'm sure there's some people playing these games. But I'm more in these for the single-player campaigns. I'm really interested to see what these campaigns are like, especially this one, because everyone sings Bad Company 2's praises, so can't wait to play these games. Next up, we have an entry in a series that I've been meaning to get into for the longest time, but I just haven't really gotten the chance to until now. BlazBlue Continuum... What the fuck is it called? BlazBlue Continuum Shift Extend. Nailed it. So anyone who likes fighting games out there knows what BlazBlue is. It's one of the all-time great fighting game series from Arc System Works. Amazing visuals, great, robust gameplay. You could play these games for hours and never see everything there is to offer, never truly master BlazBlue. The only BlazBlue game I've played up until this point is Cross Tag Battle, which came out last year. I have that on my Switch, it's over there. That's the only BlazBlue game I played, so I thought this was $6 on Lukey. So I thought I'd get it, try it out, and see how it compares to something more modern, like Cross Tag. And also, this is just my excuse to get more into the BlazBlue series, because I've been meaning to play these games forever, I just haven't gotten to, so can't wait to try this out. Oh, here we go. So next up, we have several entries in this groundbreaking legendary series. I'm gonna go through them one by one because I have very different feelings on all of them. First, starting off with Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. When people talk about first-person shooters on modern systems, usually this game is brought into the mix, because this is a revolutionary game. It revolutionized the way we play shooters on console, much like the original Halo did back in the original Xbox days. This basically single-handedly brought online multiplayer to console. This game basically brought the rise of Xbox Live on the 360 and brought everyone together with how revolutionary not only its shooting mechanics were, but how robust its online systems were. Online matchmaking in this game was something that we had never seen of this caliber before. Not even the original Halo or Halo 2 had such robust, in-depth online infrastructure like this game did. So this game basically single-handedly paved the way for shooters for the next generation. And on top of having revolutionary multiplayer that basically made it the gold standard in the industry, it had one of the best, most detailed, in-depth, thematically rich single-player campaigns out there in a first-person shooter. COD 4's campaign is still might be my favorite first-person shooter campaign of all time. That's how good it is. I basically bought this as a keepsake because I haven't had an original copy of this game for years when Remastered came out. I basically just got this to have it, and I can't wait to play it. I'm definitely going to be making videos of this game in the future, trust me. Next, we have the highly anticipated sequel, arguably even better than its predecessor, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Now, when people talk about best first-person shooter campaigns, this is usually number one, because Modern Warfare 2's campaign did stuff that no other game or developer was even daring to do at that time. Like, this was right around the time when things in the Middle East and Afghanistan were kind of at their all-time low, and things were, people were very on edge when this game came out. And this game had the balls to come out and say, yeah, we're willing to take a risk. Had some of the best levels, some of the best level design, some of the best missions in all of single-player history. This game is notorious now for its No Russian mission, where he plays a Russian soldier mowing people down in an airport. And Infinity Ward took the risk, they had something to say, and they did it, and it got a lot of controversy. This game got banned in quite a few areas, but they didn't back down on their ideals and their vision for this game, and honestly, I think it paid off. Because this is what took Infinity Ward and brought them to the highest of highs. Everyone knows who they are now. They are a renowned studio in the gaming industry now, making some of the best games out there, except for Call of Duty Ghosts. This game is legendary. No other way to say it. I'm probably most excited to replay this one because my opinion on this game kinda soured over time with the rise of hackers in the online space, making things extremely unfair and unfun online. But its campaign is still one of the best out there, so I can't wait to replay it. Next up, we have probably the last great Call of Duty game, at least for a while. Call of Duty Black Ops. Now, much like the Modern Warfare games revolutionized how modern shooters played and were perceived by the public, Black Ops did the same thing for more of a classic style shooter. This game decided to take us way back several decades to cover the Cold War and Vietnam and all of the things that were happening there with CIA agents and sleeper agents and things like that. This game was very unique in its own right because of its setting and the time period, and it really made a name for itself for that, because this is one of the most unique and one of the most popular COD games. Of course, the multiplayer was just as good as it always was, even if I do have the same issues I had with Modern Warfare 2 after a while, where hackers came into the mix, made it completely unfair, and I just didn't want to play it, and I hated this game for a while because of them. But I digress. And of course, the thing that made Treyarch famous, the Zombies mode from World at War, is back in full swing. Now you can play as JFK and a bunch of different presidential figures, and it's fucking awesome, and you can go to the moon in one of the maps, and there's an Avenged Sevenfold song, and it fucking rocks, and this game's just great. I love everything about this game, even if the same thing happened to it that happened to Modern Warfare 2, where the hackers kind of made it really unfair and unfun for a while. This game is still great. One of the best campaigns, arguably the best Zombies mode. Overall, a very solid entry in the COD series. Can't wait to play it again. Next up, we have another fighting game from our boys at Arc System Works. One of the more obscure ones in recent times, but the people who like this game really, really like it. Persona 4 Arena. Now, Persona 4 Arena has kind of been buried under all of the other great Arc System games that have come out recently, like BBB Tag, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Grand Blue Fantasy that's coming out soon. But it is a very solid, very fun fighting game in its own right. Of course, it's a Persona fighting game, so you have all different kinds of Persona 4 characters, and you have the really unique fighting mechanics that are the Personas themselves, because you have a dedicated Persona button that you have dedicated Persona attacks with that change your move setup. So it's really unique, really fun. I played this with Spencer. Follow him on Twitter at Beery Burton. Yeah, it's a great game. Another solid outing from Arc System Works. I don't think they've ever made a bad game, if I'm being completely honest with you. And while this one is a little more obscure nowadays, it's still really fun to go back to, and I highly recommend it. Next up, we have probably the most interesting purchase out of all of these. So here we have Sega Superstars Tennis, but that's not all it is. So yeah, this is actually the double pack of Sega Superstars Tennis, along with the Xbox Live Arcade compilation disc, where you get 5 different Xbox Live Arcade games. Why did I get this version instead of just Superstars Tennis on its own? Well, on Lukey Games, the actual standalone Superstars Tennis game wasn't a complete game, it was the disc only, and I'm not about that fucking life. So I decided to pick this up. It was only $1 more, and it came with a physical case and everything, so an extra $1 for the game I wanted, plus 5 extra games that I didn't. Not a bad deal. So I decided to pick up Sega Superstars Tennis because not a lot of people know this about me, but I actually really like tennis games, especially these cartoony arcade-style tennis games. Things like Mario Tennis. I actually really dig those kind of games, and it's been a while since I played one, and I don't want to fork out the full price for Mario Tennis Aces because god damn it, Nintendo. So for $3, I decided to go with the cheaper alternative, Sega Superstars Tennis. I heard very good things about this game when it came out, and it's just the kind of crazy, cartoony, arcadey tennis style game that I was looking for, so I can't wait to play it. And I was gonna say that I could care less about the Xbox Live disc, but then I realized that it comes with motherfucking Uno, and all of a sudden it was completely worth it. So next up we have another Sonic Sega related game, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. So for those of you who have never played the original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, it's actually a really solid race game in its own right. Of course, it's very similar to its leading competitor, Mario Kart, but it does enough different, and it has its own unique feel in the way the karts handle, that it's a completely different game, and it's incredibly fun. I was playing it just the other week, and I forgot how fun that game is. Even if, all things considered for Kart Racer, it's a little generic, but it's still very fun to play. And I actually never got around to playing the sequel, All-Stars Racing Transform, which I heard is even better than the original. So I'm very excited to see how this game plays. And granted, I could have gotten Team Sonic Racing, which is the newest Sonic Racing game, but I got this for super cheap, along with like 12 other games, so it was a no-brainer that I would go for this, especially since I haven't played this yet. So I'm very excited to see how this turns out. And already this game's a 10 out of 10, because you can play as Danica Patrick and Wreck-It Ralph. And I don't think there has been a better duo in all of gaming history than Danica Patrick and Wreck-It Ralph. Alright, next up we have the meme purchase out of the bundle. I saw this for how cheap it was, and I just couldn't resist. I was like, I have to make videos about this. Spider-Man 3, the video game. Now, anyone who knows me, and anyone who has eyes and a brain, knows that Spider-Man 3 isn't a great movie. Sorry, Matt, but And of course, the video game tie-in is infamous at this point for being a horrible, buggy mess that looks like shit, plays like shit, and has one of the most unintentionally funny moments in all of gaming history.
Help! Please! Someone! I'm going to die!
So I saw this, and I thought, I could buy good games. But when I could get this for dirt cheap and make meme videos about it, why would I fucking not? In all honesty, even the bad Spider-Man games are still fun to swing around in, so I guess I'm looking forward to this game, but I can't. The verdict is still out on that. And lastly, for the 360 games, we have Vanquish. This game was made by Platinum Games, but is not your standard style Platinum game, because instead of being a third-person action beat-em-up, it is a third-person shooter. But it has all of the wacky, insane, over-the-top bullshit that something like Bayonetta or Metal Gear Rising has, but it's a shooter. I don't think anyone would disagree with me when I say that this is one of the most unique original games that Platinum has ever made. Takes the standard formula of a Platinum game and throws it into a completely different genre, and somehow it works? Like, Vanquish is a really good game? I don't understand how they managed to pull this game off, because the concept is insane. But just like the concept, Platinum Games are also insane. So it doesn't surprise me that they managed to pull this game off in the way they did. It is fucking awesome, and I've never had a physical copy, so I decided to pick this one up. So yeah, I can't wait to hop back into the crazy, wacky, shooty world that is Vanquish. And last, but certainly not least, I picked up something a little extra while I was looking around. So Luki Games actually has a reward system called Luki Points, where for every game you buy, you get a certain amount of Luki Points, and you can use those to redeem certain items like games, systems, controllers, things like that. So I had a little bit of that Luki cash to spend after I put this order in, and I thought, what could I possibly get? Originally, I was going to try and get an original Super Nintendo cartridge of Mega Man X, but even with Luki points, it was dick expensive, because it was like 200 Luki points, and they only ended up with like 80. So that was out of the question, unfortunately. But I decided to go for the next best thing. I got an original cartridge of a game that is the first game in arguably my favorite game series of all time. I picked up an original Sega Genesis cartridge for the original Sonic the Hedgehog. Now this was like 70-something points on Luki Games, so I decided to pick it up. Hey, free collector's item, am I right? I don't actually own a Sega Genesis, so I can't actually play this cartridge, but like I just said, this was absolutely a collector's purchase. The collector in me saw this and couldn't resist getting it, so I did. Now, of course, all things considered, the original Sonic the Hedgehog is not great by today's standards. It very much suffers from what I like to call first game syndrome, where it is extremely unpolished, and a lot of the mechanics that are on display have not been refined to their absolute perfection yet. Of course, that's what sequels are for, to expand upon the mechanics that were introduced in the first game and make them better. So this game, in 2019, isn't great. In fact, it's kind of poo in some places, especially when it comes to level design. But as a collector's item, as something that paved the way for my favorite game series of all time, I couldn't not get it. I could not look at this on Luki Games and not go, I'm going to spend the 70 points to get this thing, and I'm going to display it on my desk, and I'm going to be proud of it. And just think, if I ever get a Sega Genesis at some point, I can actually play this cartridge. So that's a plus. But for now, I am more than content to buy it as a hardcore collector's item and put it on my desk and be proud that I own an original copy of Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, that's everything I have to show you. The box is empty. And with that said, we're going to quickly recap all the games that I showed you in this video and wrap things up here. So, let's go. Battlefield 3. Battlefield Bad Company. Battlefield Bad Company 2. BlazBlue Continuum Shift Extend. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Call of Duty Black Ops. Persona 4 Arena. Sega Superstars Tennis with Xbox Live Arcade compilation disc, which includes Uno, makes it worth the $3 already. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Spider-Man 3, Vanquish, and lastly, an original Sega Genesis cartridge for the original Sonic the Hedgehog. And with that said, thank you very much for joining me on another Gaming Purchases Showcase. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you've seen and you want to see more, you can go and subscribe down there to BGN, where we do a bunch of great gaming content, including Let's Plays, unboxings, live streams, podcasts, edited content. We do a bunch of great gaming stuff here. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you click that bell to get notifications on when we upload, because YouTube doesn't like to do that on its own for some reason. You gotta go out of your way. But go ahead, click the bell, get notifications for when we upload so you can see all our latest videos as soon as they go live. Be sure to check the links in the description to find our social media. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And with that said, I'm going to wrap things up here, so thank you very much for watching this video. I am Shane, the Bearded One, signing off. Keep on gaming, everyone. This game kinda sucks, but I'm happy I have this.